So on December 6th, we got the story of Marcus Peters, the Kansas City Chiefs player, being suspended by their coach Andy Reid because he got mad and threw the ref's yellow flag, penalty flag, into the stands. And if you've been following my channel, I talk a lot about how the sports leagues are scripted, and this is no different. Just think about this. All year and last year, but this year it's been even more ramped up, the NFL stuff is all about standing during the national anthem, standing to honor the flag. Now, we get a story of the Kansas City Chiefs player taking the flag and throwing it into the stands, right? Are you kidding me? It is so obvious. We get riddles like this and stuff like this put in front of us all of the time, such as the Miami Dolphins lines coach who got, exposed for doing lines of cocaine and then he had to resign, or the Houston Astros who make the World Series after Hurricane Harvey. And the first pitcher to pitch in Houston after Hurricane Harvey was Matt Harvey of the New York Mets. This type of stuff happens all of the time if you pay attention. The NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, it's nothing more than WWE. They just make you think that it is not. It's also pretty funny in regards to it being the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Think about it. The Native Americans, they have no reason to stand for the flag or whatever. The white man came over, killed them all off, and then they formed a Freemasonic country and they made the flag and everything else. You're supposed to worship the flag. You're not really free in this country. It's all a big joke, It's a huge lie. So, it's just funny to me. That's the storyline in regards to this mainstream media article that we're getting. But what I'm going to show in this video is how this story is also coded with what is called Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words and phrases. And every single day, I say this in every video, but every single day our mainstream media is coded with this system. Our sports leagues are always scripted with this system. Our told history is scripted the same way. I have tons of videos. Please check out the other videos. And I'll also leave some links in the description that explain what I'm talking about and why I am talking about it. And you can learn to apply it for yourself. So check out the links in the description. But in Gematria, Marcus Peters equals 50. And Chiefs also equal 50. We'll just show you here really quick on this Gematrinator, a calculator that does it for you. So Chiefs equal 50. And look, Marcus Peters also equals 50. Also, if you go back and just watch this video clip, I'm going to show it to you because if you watch this clip, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The announcers and everything else, they understand this system and they rub it in our faces. They zoom in on number 50 when they're talking about this penalty. Why are they zooming in on Justin Houston, number 50 of the Chiefs, that has nothing to do with the play? He wasn't the one who got the penalty. He wasn't the one who threw the flag into the stands. So let's just watch it. I want to show you what they do. They do this all of the time. If you pay enough attention when you're watching the sports and you listen to what they're talking about, they give you clues. So let's watch this really quick.
And flag down. They're going to get Nelson for holding. McCown just bought time, hoping something would develop. And Marcus Peters took the ball and chucked it into the stands. So that's 3 penalties.
What was the purpose of zooming in on number 50 for so long just before they start telling you about this penalty flag or whatever? They zoom in on number 50. And the guy who's getting the penalty, his name in Gematria equals 50. Chiefs equal 50. He didn't get the sack or anything. So the whole purpose, they want you to see the number 50 and how it's connected to this play. That's why they zoom in on it. And just pay attention. If you learn this system, it happens all of the time, all of the time. The guy that the penalty was on was Steven Nelson. He was born on January 22nd. If you write out Kansas City and Gematria, it equals 122. Fitting that he would play for the Kansas City Chiefs. He has the birthday that's completely synced up to Kansas City. I've also talked about all year how all of this not standing during the national anthem stuff is synced up to the 88th anniversary of the stock market crash when Herbert Hoover was the president. And Herbert Hoover is also the president who signed into Congress that the Star Spangled Banner would be the national anthem. And the reason that's so significant is because it's the 88th anniversary of the stock market crash. And Trump in Gematria equals 88. Think about Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover, H, H, H is the eighth letter, a lot like 88. And if you write out Herbert Hoover, it equals 159. And if you write out Donald Trump, it equals 159. They have a super connecting relationship. Even Francis Key, the guy who wrote the national anthem, equals 159. And all of the stuff this year is synced up to the number 88. US Bank Stadium even equals 88. And think about that in regards to the stock market crash. US Bank, right? US Bank Stadium where the Super Bowl is. It's 103 days after the anniversary of the 88th stock market crash or whatever. Stock market crash equals 103, and the Super Bowl is 103 days after the 88th anniversary. And anyway, in regards to 88 being important, Neil equals 88. The Star Spangled Banner equals 88. Let's type them out really quick so you can see. Colin Kaepernick equals 88. 88. The national anthem was inspired by the Great Garrison flag. Can't even type, but Great Garrison flag equals 88. This year we have Justin Timberlake performing at the halftime show, and the last time he performed was when he was with Janet Jackson and he showed her boob, and she was singing songs off of her album called Rhythm Nation 1814, and the 1814 is to honor the year that Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem. Everything is all about this in regards to the NFL. If you pay enough attention, you see why they do all of these things. It's also why Charles Manson died, because of his helter-skelter theory about the blacks rising up, right? The blacks rising up. And last year was when it got really big. You know, Colin Kaepernick started this movement or whatever. And we got the Falcons in the Super Bowl. The Falcons are the blackbird. And Charles Manson, the song by the Beatles that he said was telling the blacks to rise up, was the song Blackbird, right? And then we got the Blackbird, the Falcons, and the Super Bowl. So it's all super significant. But in regards to Kansas City and this number 88, the only president to die at the age of 88 was Harry S. Truman. And Harry S. Truman died in Kansas City. And Kansas City equals 148 in Gematria. I didn't write that in here, but Kansas City equals 148. Just like if you write out Harry S. Truman, that equals 148. And also, if you do Donald Trump that way, Donald J. Trump, it equals 148. So interesting, the only president to die at the age of 88 also has a connection to Donald Trump. And they both also equal 176, if you noticed. 176, if you take 88 plus 88, it equals 176. I've also been pointing out a lot of stuff in regards to North Korea that we've been getting in the news. And see, all of these things are interrelated. That's how they do this. They code all these sports leagues and they script it in connection to these media stories that we also are getting. And anyway, Truman was the president when the Korean War happened, and the Korean War lasted 3 years, 1 month, 2 days. And this game when Peters threw the flag was on December 3rd, which in most parts of the world they read it as 3/12. And there's a bunch of stuff synced up to the Jesuits. Donald Trump went to a Jesuit university. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, his real name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, that equals 312. Just the word Pope equals 312. A bunch of stuff with Kim Jong-un was synced up to the number 312, the Jesuit anniversary, I believe, is 3 months and 12 days before his birthday. All kinds of stuff synced up to this. So the Jesuits and the Korea stuff that's going on in the media. So, what was it? Dennis Rodman even went to North Korea wearing the pot coin shirt. Pot coin equals 312. It's a super significant number in regards to the Korean War. So just think about that. Truman having this connection to 88, also to the Korean War. He has the same gematria as Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, lots of stuff going on with North Korea. So hopefully that makes sense. I also pointed out, if you watch this clip, when he throws the flag, it goes up and this guy catches it or whatever. And it's interesting. Look at the colors on this guy's jacket, the guy who catches it. It looks a lot like Steelers colors, Pittsburgh Steelers colors. And of course, he's wearing a Yamaka. Interesting, they're both Jews, the Zionist Jews, the people who control all of our media. You look up the media, it all goes back to the Jews. Everything else, the Jews are the ones who practice Kabbalah, which is where Gematria comes from, the practice of coding numbers into words. So how funny this, it looks to me they're wearing yarmulkes, so, and he catches it and he's wearing Steelers colored stuff. The Steelers, a good possibility being in the Super Bowl. And they also have a lot of connections to the Kansas City Chiefs. Steelers equal 31, and when this happened, the Chiefs had 31 points. Steelers equal 50 in the reverse reduced method, just like Chiefs in the small way. Pittsburgh also equals 50. So, they zoom in on Justin Houston, number 50. Chiefs equal 50. Marcus Peters equals 50. The guy who catches the flag looks like he's in Steelers colors. Pittsburgh even has an interesting connection in regards to the stock market crash, because Steelers equal 103 in Gematria, and just like stock market crash that I was talking about earlier. So, something to think about, but I'll come back to this, like I said. But here's number 50 getting injured. This game happened against the New York Jets when he threw this flag. New York Jets equals 60. Yamaka equals 60. The guy who caught the flag is wearing the Yamaka. New York Jets equals 60. He got suspended for the game against the Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders equals 60. Donald Trump equals 60. The super N-word equals 60. Super important to just everything that's going on. Racism, Donald Trump, Oakland Raiders. I'll leave a link to my Marshawn Lynch video in regards to him not standing during the Patriots game in Mexico or whatever. That's connected to the same stuff I'm talking about. But the real reason, so Marcus Peters, he gets suspended before the Oakland game, and look where he's from. Oakland, California. He gets suspended before going to play a game in Oakland, where he's originally from. He wears number 22 for the Chiefs. Oakland equals 22. And think about Oakland in regards to all of the not standing during the national anthem stuff. Colin Kaepernick from the San Francisco 49ers, right? In the San Francisco Bay. That's where all of the national anthem, the flag stuff begins with. And then he throws the flag and he gets suspended for the Oakland game. The Black Panthers even founded in Oakland, right? Think about Super Bowl 50 when the Carolina Panthers with Cam Newton and the Black Panthers founded by Huey P. Newton, right? Just think about that. 50, Chiefs equal 50, all the stuff connected to 50. It was the Black Panther versus the White Bronco, right? And then Beyonce did the whole Michael Jackson tribute with the X, and everything about the Super Bowl was connected to X. The score was 24-10. X in Gematria equals 24. X in Roman numerals is 10. Think about Malcolm X, right? Malcolm equals 24 Gematria. X, the 24th letter. His real name is Malcolm Little. Little equals 24. Malcolm equals 24. The score, the Broncos won with 24 points. even the Confederate flag is the X, So tons of videos on this from a while back, blog posts, everything else. Lots to remember, but it it's all just coded to the same thing over and over. So anyway, in regards to this guy wearing this Pittsburgh looking colors, it just made me look more into Pittsburgh and whatever else. And I noticed something I never noticed before is Pittsburgh is known as the city of bridges. And if you've been following my channel, I've been talking for 2 years, I've been talking about Philadelphia, which is also in Pennsylvania, and how there is something connected to an earthquake and in regards to the Ben Franklin Bridge, right? So just interesting. I didn't know Pittsburgh was known as the city of bridges. The Super Bowl's in Minnesota this year. Minnesota, remember in what 2007 or 8, there was the bridge collapse, and then they got Teddy Bridgewater, and then they brought in the Philadelphia Eagles Sam Bradford, to fill in for the injured Bridgewater. There's so much stuff that is going on with it. The Monetta, Virginia shooting, if you look at the camera, when they showed the guy supposedly, absolutely fake too, but when they showed the guy on the bottom of the screen, they showed a NASCAR driver from Pennsylvania who died, and then it said Franklin Bridgewater, if you looked at it. So that was years ago, but I guarantee it's connected to something in the future. That's how they do these riddles. So, in regards to all of that, I also was thinking about sexual allegations and how it's connected. Think about Ben Roethlisberger, Ben Rapelessberger, and the Steelers were also in the Batman movie, The Dark Knight, in 2012, when the the whatever the field collapses, right, with Hines Ward running the ball, and we have Oblivion, the movie Oblivion, that says that 2017 will be the last Super Bowl. Possibly it meant the 2017 season. I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to happen at the Super Bowl. I'm just throwing out ideas, trying to get ahead of the game. So, interesting, it connects to the Steelers. It's all about the last Super Bowl. The Batman movie has the Super Bowl collapsing. And if you read out Dark Knight, it equals 103, just like Steelers. And in that movie, all the bridges collapse, if you remember. And then Pittsburgh is the city of bridges. So, and Colin Kaepernick, the guy who started all the not standing during the national anthem, is from San Francisco, where the Golden Gate Bridge is. The Golden Gate to the Jews is where the Messiah is supposedly supposed to return. I'm going to skip over the stuff with Christian Bale, but recently I've been talking a lot about this cowboy theme and some other stuff. And Christian Bale was even in the movie 310 to Yuma. He was also a voice in Pocahontas, right? And then Trump just did the whole racist comment when he was interviewing the Navajos, and then we got the Aztec school shooting that was right next to the Navajo Nation. So definitely something connected to that. I haven't figured it all out, but I mentioned it in this post. I also pointed out that Marcus Peters, the play when he threw the flag, when it happened, there was 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game. And if you write out Benjamin Roethlisberger, it equals 215. And The Dark Knight equals 215. Even though it was The Dark Knight Rises. But just interesting, I figured I'd point that out really quick. So the Steelers player, number 50, Ryan Shazier, however you say his name, number 50 gets hurt. Remember, Chiefs equal 50, Steelers equal 50, Pittsburgh equals 50. And in this article that I clicked on, they even talk about the coach, what's his name? The defensive coordinator, Keith Butler, talks about it in this post here. The defensive coordinator, this guy is a linebacker. Keith Butler equals 50 as well. So number 50 gets hurt. The defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, his name equals 50. Pittsburgh equals 50. Steelers equal 50. His name, the big way, equals 131. Defense equals 131. Also 31. and Steelers equal 31. If you're out spinal injury, it equals 168, just like this guy's full name. Ryan Dean Shazier, that equals 168. He got injured 63 days before Super Bowl 52. His name also equals 63 in Gematria. Injured 63 days before the Super Bowl. He also got his first career sack on Colin Kaepernick. Sacked 49ers starting quarterback Colin Kaepernick for his first career sack. How fitting for all the not standing during the national anthem. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania also equals 103. So Steelers 103, The Dark Knight, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, stock market crash, all the stuff connected to US Bank Stadium. So hopefully all that makes sense. We'll see if there's a stock market crash. I just made a video in regards to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and it's just interesting how it's all blowing up now just after the 88th anniversary of the stock market crash, and it's all coded by the numbers as well. I'll leave a link to that in the description. I don't know. You know, I don't always know who's going to be in the Super Bowl or who's going to win the game, but these games are always scripted by this system. And if you understand this system and you watch the game, you see how it is scripted. And that is the important thing, to know that the games are scripted. It just doesn't matter who wins. It'd be awesome to be able to figure that out. And eventually, after studying this, maybe we can figure it out every single time and figure out the exact method of what is going on. That's the ultimate goal, because if you can do that, we can make more people understand it. But if you understand the system, you see how all of this happens by the numbers. It's very obvious. It doesn't matter who wins the game, but eventually, I've only been studying this for 3 years, so imagine in 10 years it might be just so easy and so obvious. So we'll see. But the more people who understand this, the more people who apply it, the more we're going to understand it, and the more we're going to be able to figure that out. So, quit believing in all of these rigged sports games, apply this knowledge to them, and make your own videos, make your own blog, try to help other people understand that it is scripted. That's the only way that we're going to get out of this scripted system, the scripted world, if we figure out what is going on in this world. So, and the exact reason and how to either how to use it for good or not use it at all, or figure out exactly what the whole purpose of all this is. So, sorry for rambling, but have a good one.